Hey, it's Tim. Welcome to Focus Friday. And today I want to talk about the power or frustration of repetition. So repetition actually plays a big part in the life of an agency owner. So there's repetition around creating process, and there's repetition around sort of hiring and selling, and you end up doing a lot of the same things often. And in that case, repetition is really good because each time you go through one of these things, you actually become more efficient. And so as you get your team to solve the same problems again and again, not only do they get better at solving them, they also get more efficient. Therefore, you actually increase capacity and you get a better business. And so there's a lot of great things about repetition. But there are other kinds of repetition that are very bad. Uh, and as a wise man, my coach Chuck told me once. He said, uh, "The teacher keeps on reappearing until the lesson is learned." And so, part of your growth as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, whatever, is you've got to start to be keenly aware about those lessons that you've been given multiple opportunities to learn, but frankly haven't yet. Now, it may not, and this is not about blame, just you haven't learned those lessons yet. So, for instance, a lesson that I have to continually learn over and over and over again is one around being overly optimistic. And so I have ADHD, and so my like sort of time planning is not awesome. So I often have the most optimistic view of how things can happen, and I regularly make mistakes in that regard. And so I either double book myself or I'm late or something doesn't work out and my schedule falls apart. And that's why I have Noel to handle my schedule. Awesome, great job. Um, but that's a lesson that I learned continuously. That teacher showed up all the time, every day for roughly 25 years. Yeah, 25 years to learn the lesson that I can't run my schedule. Whew, brutal, huh? So that teacher kept on showing up, me being late, me not having time to get from one place to the other, me not being able to time to pick up my kids from school, all of that stuff. So that was a lesson that it took me a long time to learn, but I did learn it. And so now things are better. But I would like you to stop and think, what are the lessons that you need to learn where that teacher keeps on showing up, and either it's that kind of employee that you cannot get the most performance out of, or is it the customer that always chooses not to pay their bill, or the customer that fires you without notice? Those are all teachers that are showing up to teach you a lesson about the things that you are not executing well on in your business, and quite honestly, probably your life. So it's important for you to take an inventory of the things that circumstances are trying to teach you. Now, most everybody who's watching this is a leader of some sort. You're a manager or the founder of a company or something, and it can be especially challenging for people who are in leadership roles to be honest with themselves about the fact that some teacher is knocking on the door to help them learn a lesson right now. And that's essentially part of the human condition, where there are things that we don't feel capable of conquering, but of course, given the right set of circumstances, you do conquer it. And I want you to think about being proactive here. And I want you to start thinking about your experience as a leader, looking for the patterns that you see either in your team or your business or your clients or in the relationships that you have with co-founders. What are those patterns? What teacher is knocking at your door and what's the lesson that they're trying to teach you today? Because when you pay attention to those lessons, they can be learned. The teacher keeps on showing up because you aren't listening to the lesson they're giving you. And it's really important for you as a person and as a leader to be aware of and to continually work on those lessons that you need to learn. But it's more important, it's even more important for your team to know that you are learning just like they are, that you are on a journey of improvement and you are a work in progress as well, especially if, like me, a little gray in your beard, and you work with folks who are uh, generationally distant. You can see, that they might think that you've got everything figured out, and just between us, I know you don't, and it's okay. Nobody's got everything figured out. But what I want you to do is make it okay for you to yourself to admit that you don't have everything figured out and you're working and getting better and learning, growing and changing and evolving, because that doesn't diminish your leadership of your team. It empowers them because you are showing them that the teachers that are knocking on their doors, teaching them lessons, well, it's a constant. And so there is no after learning, there's only the act of learning. So, what teacher is knocking at your door right now? For me, right now, it's the fact that, quite honestly, I didn't get this video done on Monday when I'd planned to. It's Friday. That's my teacher. When I put something on my schedule, I should honor that. I should honor that event. That's my lesson for today. That teacher's knocking on the door because my family like to go eat dinner. What's your teacher today? Let's focus Friday. Have a great weekend.